Hi, friends and family,
Welcome to Hope After Addiction
with your hosts, Katie Comer.
and Chelsea McLeod.
Welcome to Hope After Addiction. We are so happy that you have joined us today. Thank you. How are you?
Good morning, friend. Good. I'm ready for the holidays.
Today's our holiday episode.
Yeah.
Jingle bells. We are,
We were going to wear holiday stuff.
I know.
Remember?
I was like, I thought about wearing my Mary sweatshirt, but I didn't wear
Maybe
it.
next episode.
Maybe. We'll see.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, so happy holidays. We hope that this season finds you well.
Yeah.
Chances are you're struggling, and it's okay. And I get it. And it's holidays. Whew,
Tough.
It can be tough, and we hear it a lot. And I remember in the throes of it, the holiday seasons are just very carries a lot of weight. And
No matter if things are
heaviness.
good. Yeah.
I know. It's just hard. So we always like to do a holiday season. We also like to do like first of the year
Yeah. Yeah.
one. So we'll do that too
Easter,
coming up. But just to encourage you in some tools that you can bring to the table when it comes to your loved one and the holidays and having to deal with them. So we just like to talk about it
Yes.
and encourage you.
Yeah.
Because we know that it's hard.
Yeah, we know it's not easy. And we know we have many listeners to this. And so,
Oh, yeah.
like we even just
Yeah.
said, things could be really good right now, actually, but they're still tough. We could have...
Triggers and-
Oh, yeah. And when Papa passed, I've mentioned this on here, but you have all your first. So we know for some of our listeners, this is your first. This is your first year without your loved one here on earth. We know we have some listeners that this is your first year at home alone, where your loved one is in treatment. We know that there's some that your loved one is out on the streets and you don't know where they are.
Yeah.
And so we know that we have a wide audience for what the holidays are going to look like this year.
Yeah.
And so we just kind of want to touch on, we know it's hard. Like we know it's hard and it's messy. And this is going to be a first year for me without both of my grandparents on one side. It's hard, and you miss them greatly, but it's okay. And even to think like this, it's okay that this is not the most beautiful time of the year.
Yeah.
Because there's an
Yeah.
expectation, I
Right.
think, that's put on that you're supposed to be joyful, you're supposed to be happy, it's supposed to be the best time of the year. But it's also part of walking through grief is that this year may not necessarily be the most beautiful time of the year.
Yeah.
Grace yourself in that. It's okay. That's okay to acknowledge that because it's a part of grief that you're walking through.
And I do think it can ebb and flow with your journey of the holidays, right?
Yeah.
So I know even our pastor gets up on stage when it's around Christmas or anything like that. And he recognizes that it
Yeah.
can be a hard season, not just for addiction. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot that we can talk about with just addiction and what to do, what not to do, and what, all the things. But there's also so many other things that people are dealing with.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so he even like talks about that. Like this sometimes is the hardest season for people. There's a lot of seasonal depression. There's a lot of things that go on. But we do recognize that a lot of our listeners are dealing with addiction, right?
Yeah.
In their loved one. And so we kind of do focus on that.
Yeah.
But we recognize that some of these tools that we're going to bring to the table here and talk about, you can use for any aspect. And we do have listeners that never
Yeah.
have had addiction stuff. So
Which is so
hopefully that you find hope and
Yeah.
peace and comfort and some tools that you can bring to the table when dealing with the holidays and dealing with it when it's just struggle,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So.
For sure.
So what would you say? What would be your first tool?
First tool, I would say, well, I'm going to give one point of advice that changed my
Advice or
life.
tool? Yeah.
Advice first, I'm going to give a tool. But and John works on this a lot with people that call in, but one holiday away from them is worth every one ahead that they're healthy. And so if it comes, a lot of people will hold back and be like, I'm not going to send them because Christmas is coming up or
That's good.
New Year's or Thanksgiving. I want them to be
hear that.
here. Get them in because and people in addiction will use that. Well, I want to be able to spend Christmas at home with my kids.
Yeah, we hear that a lot.
We hear it a lot. And know that one holiday away from them is worth 60 more healthy and alive. And so just know that if there's a pushback of that, like it's okay to spend one with them seeking treatment and getting help.
Yeah.
Okay, side note. So first point of advice would be new memories are necessary. And I think so often after walking this journey, we try and fit everything back into the square pegged box of what it always was. And that's not necessary. And that's actually not even what God calls us to do. And so, as we know, you have to revamp your whole life. You have to recreate holidays. You have to do new things. And so, instead of trying to put everything back in that box of what it always was, do new things.
Yeah.
Because, like Katie just mentioned, triggers. There's going to be triggers like create new memories. I mean, we do fun things now. Like John didn't always love the holidays, and we love doing holiday stuff now. It's just doing new things, and to even know that life can be beautiful again. And so I know for some, if you're walking through a really hard season or a first, and they're not going to be in your home necessarily this year, maybe it's taking a trip somewhere where you're not in your home for the first year. That's okay too. To where it's just making new memories, doing new things. You're never going to forget it. It's never going to be the same.
Yeah.
And you know that. We all know that. Christmas will never be the same as it always was, but it's okay to make new memories, and make that a point this year to make new memories, to make joy happen, to bring it in, whether it's cookies, whether it's lights, whatever it may be. Do new things, make new memories.
Yeah. I think one of mine would be your expectations. Set realistic expectations.
Yeah.
Or don't set expectations.
Yeah.
I'm really bad about that in general. I'm like,
Me
we're going to
too.
go get our tree, and it's going to be a beautiful weather, and we're going to get hot chocolate and the hayride and all the things. And I have these
Yes.
expectations, and then it rains, and I'm like,
It's all ruined. Yeah.
the worst Christmas ever.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and that's just like a funny thing.
Yeah.
But I do, like, I get really sad about it. And I'm
Yeah.
like, it's because I set my expectations on something. If it's not met, then that's silly.
Right.
So when it comes to your loved one and them being home for the first time, or maybe your loved one's no longer here, whatever it may be, and it looks a little different. When you're going into the holiday season, maybe set realistic or don't set expectations for yourself. Just like you said, there's going to be new things that happen, and it's not always been the same as it was. You might not get your, whatever it may be. I don't know. You go to a certain party, right? And you've always gone to this certain party with your friends, and it's been so fun. It's like your favorite thing of all the holiday season. But there's a lot of drinking there.
Yep.
And your loved one's coming home, and you're like, they're ruining it all. But if you go into the holiday season saying, I'm going to kind of wash everything clean, and we're going to create these new memories like you were talking about. I'm not going to have expectations where I'm going to feel let down. And I mean, I get it. It's sad that you might not be able to go to that party.
Yeah.
But you're creating these new memories, new expectations for your new life. And trust me when I say that this new life, walking in freedom with your loved one, is going to be so much better. This new first year, it might be hard, and I get it, because it's just all brand new stuff. But try to create these memories and try to create these new traditions that creates a safer environment for your loved one, for sure.
Yeah, and it's true. And I love that point, because expectations are a killer. I mean, a literal killer.
It still kills me today sometimes.
Oh, I struggle with the same thing. It's hard. Unmet expectations. And I was working with a client this week, and her husband's gone through some pretty big family stuff, and there's like no communication at this point. And we talked about, like, as a wife, how it was going to be important for her to grace him this year, because it's his first not speaking with family, and how this holiday is probably pretty tough. And so as a wife or spouse, husband, mother, father, even ones that have walked through addiction, to grace, because we don't know what's going through their heads right now. We don't know what kind of pains they're going through. Everything looks different for them, and that's okay. And that goes to the second point that I had, is it's okay to say no to what's not healthy for you in your journey.
That's so funny. Okay.
That's a huge one. And I have a friend, sweetest friend. She's a big listener, so I know you're probably watching this. But we were texting this week, kind of updating, and she said this year her husband said no to both work parties. And what a big deal that was, because it is okay. And there's this guilt that, like, oh, we're going to say no, like I look forward to it, whatever it may be. But it is absolutely necessary for your healing to be able to do stuff like that. I don't care if it's family. I don't care if it's work. I don't care if there's an expectation on it from the other parties. I don't care if there's an expectation from parents that are going to be mad at you. If it means that you say no for your healing and your journey, you stand firmly on that.
Yeah.
And we had somebody not come to our wedding. They were going through some stuff, and there was other family members that just some stuff, and she felt so bad. And I was like, I would rather have y'all the rest of our lives than to come and everything just unravel. It's okay.
Yeah.
And so my prayer is that family and friends understand that, and if they don't, that you can settle in that and be okay, because it is so necessary to be strong on that.
Yeah. Another word I think for that, and to kind of piggyback off of that, so because I was kind of laughing, was setting boundaries.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I would encourage you to sit down with your loved one before the holiday season, have a face-to-face real conversation about the boundaries that they feel comfortable with setting and the boundaries that you feel comfortable with setting. Sometimes people are on home passes for the holidays, and this is their first time being in your house since all of this went down. And it's terrifying. And so having that conversation with them, saying, this makes me uncomfortable, or what makes you feel uncomfortable, having those conversations, just like she said with her friend in the parties. He obviously didn't feel comfortable going to those parties. So they had that conversation about the boundaries. And so it's easy to ignore those conversations because they can be uncomfortable. And you also don't want to bring light to evil. Like you feel like you're bringing light to the addiction that they had, but that's a part of their story, right? And so you have to sometimes have those hard conversations. Like, what do you feel comfortable going to? What do we need to eliminate out of our life right now? We can readdress it maybe in a few years, but what makes you feel comfortable being at home so that you can live a life of sobriety and not have to think about those triggers and all that stuff. So just an honest conversation sometimes is what it has to have.
Yeah. Yeah. And you've always mentioned communication, and I have that one because it's so important. And even statistically, like statistics show how hard the holidays are when it comes to depression, anxiety. I was looking last night, I think this was 2022 study, which has risen since then, but overdose rates rose 22% during the holidays. And every president since Ronald Reagan has proclaimed December National Impaired Driving Month. Extra cops on the road, extra all the things. And so when this and communication, even if you've been on this journey for a while, like in communication, check in on your person, check on them, ask how they're doing, see how they are. I always encourage like families and stuff, just check. I'm proud of you. You know, I'm proud of what you're doing. I'm proud of your path. I'm proud of your journey. Just check on them, love on them a little extra. I think that's really important for the holidays because we don't know what they're going through.
Yeah.
And just communicate, like Katie said, because it's so important. And for them to communicate with us, like, or hear our hearts too, because we have things that are fears, fears, triggers, all the
can always
things.
come up.
Yes. And so to just hear communication is so important in these more difficult seasons that, you know, are just harder to get through.
Yeah. I also think, because we're doing it too. I mean, and it's necessary that we talk about your loved one and what they need and what helps them and how are they going to feel and how is it going to be easy for them in the holidays. But let's just take a step. Hope After Addiction is also about the loved one.
Yeah.
So let's not forget that you need to practice some self-care too during the holiday season. Don't forget about yourself. Don't get so focused in on your loved one. It's natural to do. I can get where it's easy to do. I have been guilty. I know Chelsea has been guilty of it because we talk about it a lot. We forget about ourselves. Go out, go shopping, go get your nails done for Christmas, go get your hair done, go do something for yourself. Go take a shower.
Yes.
Do something that makes you feel good about yourself because it's so easy to forget about yourself when you're so focused on your loved one. And it's going to be super easy to do during the holiday season because you're focused on, are they okay? How do they feel? Do they feel good? Like, I get it, but we've also given you some tools for that, right? But also just kind of bringing it back to light that you need to focus on yourself too. Don't forget about yourself. because it's hard to crawl back out of sometimes. I feel like once you go back to that.
Oh yeah, especially if you're in the fit of it.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
And one of the points that piggybacks that is rest in the sweet presence of God. And I think so
important.
often we get so tied up in the season, the holiday stuff, the presents, the decorating, all the things that we lose the reason for the season.
Yeah, that's easy
And
to do.
so simplify this year, simplify the holiday, simplify what Christmas is, focus on what it really is. Know that God's in the details. He knows you're hurting. He knows it's tough. You know, one of my favorite things is just to get still when the Christmas lights are on. Turn every light in the house off. Turn your fireplace on if you have one. If not, YouTube 4K has an awesome fireplace app or show that I love because we don't have a fireplace. And sit there when the house is quiet and the lights are twinkling, and sit there and let God romance you, because he will meet you right there. No matter how tough it is,
So
no matter
good.
how messy it
love
is,
that.
sit in that. And it is the most peaceful place that you can be. And
love
just
that.
in those moments, because we get lost in it. And so it's been important. And another thing that I was thinking when we were going through this, sometimes it's not always a no. We have things, whether it be weddings or even family things, and we know that alcohol can be brought out later or whatever it may be. So we'll go in, we'll do the wedding or we'll have the meal, and then we leave. And everybody knows that like we're going to head out. Once things come out, we're out.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Like we're confident in that. They're okay with it. We've just put up those boundaries. That's like, hey, we will come, but we will leave when things start changing.
Yeah, you got to do what's best for you.
You got to do what's best for you. Yeah.
You know, and I think it's important to recognize also the victories that God has done in your life
Yes.
and in your loved one's life. And you know, you might not be there, right? They might be in rehab right now, which in and of itself is a victory. So that's
Amen.
good. Right?
Amen.
Right?
Yeah.
I never felt more. I remember when Adam first went to rehab, it was the best sleep I got.
Whew. Like days,
You know?
days. Yeah.
Right. And so
Yeah.
celebrate that you're resting, right? It might be hard that they're not with you,
So
right?
good. Yeah.
So try to find the victory in your circumstance. We talk about gratitude journals or whatever. There's always a place you can pull gratitude from, and try to find that in this holiday season, even though it's hard,
Yeah.
right? Whatever you're walking through, maybe they're home for the first time.
Yeah.
Find a victory that, hey, they're doing well. I might be scared to death, but God
Yeah.
has got this.
Yeah.
And find the victory that they're home and they're alive with you. The harder one is if your loved one is not here with us anymore. Maybe they did pass away. Try to find victory. I don't know. I've never been in that situation, so that's hard. Try to find a victory that God is sustaining you, and
Sustaining, yeah.
He has got you, and He's got your heart in His hand, right?
Yeah.
Try to find that small victory. There's such an array of victories that you can pull from, even in the darkest of times, and so try to find those.
Yep. I just had a fun project that just came to my head. But for all of you that are just in a really tough season this year, you should get paper, whatever, even if you don't have any money right now, a piece of paper, or you can get little tiny ornament things. But every day, write one thing you're thankful for. Write the date on it. Hang it on your tree as ornaments this year. One thing every day.
That's a good
Of
idea.
victory. One thing you're thankful for. And save that. So every year, put it in your Christmas box like ornaments, and you can look back every year at what God's done.
Oh, I love that. Send us a picture.
Yeah. That would be
Would you
so
do that?
cool.
Send us a picture.
Yes.
That's our homework.
And we'll do it with you. We can have the
let's do
kids
that.
do it. I
We'll do
love
that.
it.
We'll
yeah.
do that. We'll put our pictures
Yeah.
up. You send us your pictures. Encourages
Yep.
us
Yep.
that you all are listening.
Yeah.
and being encouraged by what we're saying. So
Victory tree. Yeah.
victory tree.
Thankful gratitude tree. Yeah.
I like that.
Let's do it.
Gratitude.
Okay.
Tree. That's good.
I love that. Yeah.
You good?
I'm good.
You have any more else?
No, I mean, we know that it's hard,
Yeah,
and we
we do.
encourage
Yeah.
you. It's messy. And when everybody else is smiling and joyful, just know that everybody's probably walking through their own storm this holiday season.
Yeah.
As most happens every year. I mean, that's why it's hard. That's why we have the statistics that we do
Yeah.
in every realm. And
Yeah.
so know that you're not the only one that's struggling. And I'm excited to see Christmas trees.
I am too. Do those for us. That'd be
Yes.
great. For yourself. But yeah, I want to see them too.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you so much for listening. We hope that you have a great holiday season. We hope that it is one of the best you've ever experienced. We hope that you have found hope and peace in listening to this holiday episode. God is good, and He's going to be good to you during this holiday season. We trust that. And so we hope that you do feel at peace in that. So thank you again for watching. If you are finding this on any of our social media platforms, make sure you share it with whoever to see if they need to feel encouragement. You never know what somebody's going through. And we've found that out a lot. So if you're finding this on our YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe, and so you can see our next episode that comes out. We hope that you have a great day and be blessed. Bye.